Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Do not go where the path may lead. Do not go where the path may lead. Go where there is no path and leave a trail." And what a trail this trailblazer has left for millions across the world. She's a pioneer, she's an icon, she is a legend, she's an innovator, she is a mother, she's a daughter, she is everything. She is Sania Mirza. And on today's special live show, we celebrate the legacy of Sania Mirza, the last dance of Sania Mirza, Sania Mirza's swan song. We will come together to cherish all the wonderful memories Sania Mirza has given us as Indian tennis fans, as sports fans. This is Saarthak on Indian Tennis Daily, and we would love to take up all your questions, all your tributes, all of what you would like to share in regards to Sania and her journey through the years. Send in your thoughts. The comments box is open, and I will have with me some super fans of the legend Sania joining me on the show today. Hi Shruti, hi Tennis Universal. Happy to see all of you. Hi Vidisha Gupta. She says, yes, she is Sania Mirza, of course. And when you just think of this, it would have been just that perfect fairy tale ending had she lifted it at the Australian Open, at the Rod Laver Arena, where 18 years back she played for the first time in 2005 against Serena Williams. But she gave us so much to be proud of, and even that final run left us all filled with goosebumps. And as Indian tennis fans, we could not feel any more pride. And it's just so much respect and awe we all have for her. Kalyani Somani writes in, "We love you, Sania." All the love pouring in. Pri says, trailblazer all the way. And how many girls, how many Indian girls would want to pick up the tennis racket, have picked up the tennis racket because of Sania Mirza. And Vishnu Vardhan says, need to have some BGM for this intro. Thanks, Vishnu. Thank you. For any of you who wants to join me on this live and share your tribute for Sania, just send in a request and I would love to add you on this live show and we can all connect. Send in your questions. I've seen so many tributes pouring in. Varun Kopp writes, an absolute legend of the game, a true inspiration, a role model for billions, and more so, inspiring Indians and women to take up the sport. You will be missed. It has always been a pleasure watching you over the last 18 years. Thank you for the memories, Sania Mirza. Deepak writes from Paris, Sania's journey is an inspiration for so many. I'm looking forward to the session, and thank you to everyone who's joining in. I see a lot of you here. Hi Anush Gari, hi Kushal, hi Jinx. Thanks for making my teenage life so wonderful, so memorable, is what Jinx is saying. And that's what a lot of us Indians resonate, the same emotion. That's what she's done. She's given us so much to cherish, so much to celebrate. Hi Ronnie. Ajmal Sami sends a message for Sania Mirza, an inspiration, an icon, a legend, and a pride of our great nation. The one who revolutionized women's sport, who made young girls across different states pick up the tennis racket and play and believe that anything is possible. If you have dreams, she would have been an epitome of breaking the stereotype in our culture. She has inspired everyone across genders, across sports. Her journey is a life lesson, and her legacy will live on for ages, and her story would be a part of folklore. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, says Ajmal to Sania Mirza. Send in your thoughts. I'll read it on the show, whatever. And I have Abhijit joining me from Earnest Sport. And I know how much he admires and respects Sania. And I'll try and accept Abhijit's request and have him on our show. There he is.
Hi, Saarthak. Can you see me?
Yes, I can. How are you, Abhijit?
I'm very well. How are you, Saarthak?
Fantastic. Abhijit, tell me about your earliest memories when it comes to Sania Mirza.
Sure. So I think, like many other Indians, I started following Sania because of her great run at 2005 Australian Open. I was a 12-year-old boy living in Pune, and I remember Sania, of course, was in news before that, but that particular 2005 Australian Open, she made it to the third round. And I remember watching the first round, second round, and in the third round, when she reached that, of course, she was playing the great Serena Williams. And I think that match she lost 1-4, but it didn't matter. I went into that match thinking Sania's still going to win it, right? So that's my earliest memory of Sania Mirza. That's how it started. I think she's the reason I picked up a racket. And of course, 2005 is also the year when, Federer and Nadal, they were becoming great. 2005 summer is actually after the Sania incident. 2005 summer is when Rafa won his first Roland Garros. So yeah, Sania Mirza, Roger Federer, and Nadal. It all started with those three for me. So yeah, that's my earliest Sania Mirza memory.
And Kalyani is saying Abhijit rocking the ITD hoodie. So
Yeah,
the
thanks.
Indian tennis
Represent.
daily hoodie is what. And Abhijit, I've had this conversation with you a number of times in the past. I know how much you admire Sania. Tell us all about your. Have you met her and how was that experience?
Sure. I remember, I've seen her countless times. I've seen her play live countless times. I think I've been lucky. But there was this once, I was in Delhi during 2014 IPTL. And all the teams, all the players, they were staying at a hotel. And I remember just waiting for her for many, many hours. And then she just came through the lift. And I just ran behind her, just to get a selfie. And now this is back in 2014. So selfies were still cool. And I remember chasing her, and she was surrounded by bodyguards, of course. So I went to take the picture, and the guard, kind of pushed me. And Sania Mirza immediately said, Sania Mirza told the guard, please stop. And she's like, let him take the picture. And then she smiled. She gave me like a big smile. And then, yeah, we took a picture. And I do have that picture, actually. I'll share it on the story later, maybe. But yeah, that's
right.
For that very brief period of time, I met Sania, and yeah, it meant a lot to me. And of course, every time I've cheered for her from the stands, she always appreciated her fans. So that's wonderful to see when the big players do that. So yeah, that's my memory of meeting Sania.
I mean, to everyone who's commenting on what Abhijit's experience has been like, it also speaks volumes about Sania the person, because we get to see her on TV, we watch her from a distance, but like you said, there was so much awareness that you as a fan wanted that pitch, wanted you to get that experience, and that also shows her warmth. And she's always been this person who has given so much to her fans, given us so many reasons to find joy on and off the court, a true role model for so many. And Prasanjit Basu says, I want to join. Please send in a request. I would be happy to add you, Prasanjit. Bharat Army has joined. And this Shilpa writes in, you are an inspiration to many from around 2 decades. You'll be remembered in history of Indian tennis with golden words. No words are enough to praise your dedication. You made us proud. Good work, champion. Abhijit, the kind of praise, the kind of awe, admiration, just shows that, I mean, when you think of it, she was India's first female superstar, sports superstar, wasn't she?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the great women who performed, at the highest level before Sania. So we've had some great tennis players. We also had someone like PT Usha, who was probably India's greatest sportswoman. And today, we have players like PV Sindhu, Nehwal, who are household names. But I think between that period, Sania Mirza was a lone superstar. And, she was on Time magazine covers, and she was on Coffee with Karan, I think, or one of those episodes. And yeah, she was like the legend celebrity, Indian celebrity, I would say. Even if you go right now,
she was made Instagram or Twitter. I mean, she's made for stardom, wasn't she? She was just born to be a star.
That is true, 110%.
And what do you? Go ahead.
Sorry, there was some network problem. What did you say?
I want right. I want to know what do you feel will be her legacy? What will she be most remembered for through the decades to come?
Yeah, sure. So of course, the tennis.
Hi, Vidisha is joining us. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Saarthak. Hi, Abhijit.
Hello. So yeah, I'll just continue with what Saarthak
Go ahead,
asked. So
Abhijit.
Sania Mirza, of course, her tennis will be remembered for a very long time. And any new tennis player who comes now, they have that number 27 that they need to pass to be considered as great as Sania Mirza. Because from 2003 to 2013, she was India's #1 player, and her career high was world number 27. And of course, the 6 slams she's won. It displays that she was there with the best of the best, and also what she meant for Indian sportswomen. I think that is very inspiring. So I think those 3 aspects, that's where I see Sania's greatness.
Vidisha, tell me about your fondest memories when it comes to Sania Mirza. Your earliest, any childhood memories. When did the fandom start developing for you?
Yeah, so Saarthak, I'm so glad to be here live with you and Abhijit and India Tennis Daily, of course. And so my journey, I'm 24 right now, and my journey goes back 20 years down the line. 20 years ago when I was 4 years old, and I started playing tennis in Calcutta, a small little club in Calcutta. And, people started praising me that you're playing like Sania, you're playing like Sania. So Sania Mirza was a brand back when I was 4 years old, 20 years back. So, of course, it started from there. And then, she just never failed to inspire me down the lane. So even today, when I came back to my tennis journey, like, I had many gaps in between. I practiced 7 continuous years, and then I left, and then I joined in my college, university level. And then again, I left, but again, I had the courage to join back. So that's only because of Sania Mirza.
Just goes to show what one woman can do. I mean, a true trailblazer in every sense, and how much she means to the girls. And with that, Prasenjit is also joining us. And just looking at the age group of super fans who are going to be on this live, who are commenting, it just shows Sania Mirza has fans across all genders, across all age groups. Hi, Prasenjit. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you.
Hi, Basu sir.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Nice to see
Tell
you.
us about your special memories, and what would you like to say about dance and everything about Sania Mirza? What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, with Sania, we had a group called sportsindia.com where we started following Sania when she was about 13 or 14 years old. When she was 14, she was the world's top-ranked 14-year-old. So that's what got us interested, and we started following her. We used to post her results within seconds of the end of the match. And one day when we had a chat room, in those days, something called a chat room, Sania suddenly entered the chat room, and she started chatting. She was about 14 years old. And, we had a great chat until somebody tried to advise her on where to play next. Then she went silent and she left the chat. Anyway, so that's where it started. And of course, I've been following her ever since. When she was 17, she really began to have some spectacular results. And from around August of that year, when she was 17, not quite 18, she won 3 or 4 tournaments in India, and then she won 3 tournaments in Nigeria. And quickly her ranking went up into the top 150 among juniors, then closer to top 100. And she Asia Pacific, the Asia, well, actually these were pro tournaments, actually, ITF Futures and Challenger level type tournaments in Nigeria. Then she got invited to the Asia Pacific wildcard playoff, and she lost in the final to Lee Na. Lee Na was a few years older than her, but she reached the final,
Right.
lost narrowly to Lee Na. Lee Na was then ranked just over 100. She, within the next 2 or 3 weeks, Lee Na had reached about 85 in the rankings, so she didn't need the wild card, and Sania got it. And of course, she got a pretty good draw, I have to say. The first 2 rounds of the Australian Open, she won quite comfortably. And then, of course, was that spectacular match against Serena Williams. I can never forget the sheer excitement of watching 80-year-old Sania Mirza taking on Serena Williams, the greatest of all time, and matching her shot for shot, and getting her forehand going past the greatest woman player of all time. I mean, it was such a thrilling experience. Okay, so that was the beginning, and then that year, of course, soon after that, she got a wild card at Dubai, and she went all the way, beating Svetlana Kuznetsova, who was then the reigning US Open champion. She beat her in Dubai and reached the quarterfinals. And there was no looking back. I remember after she played Serena, Brad Gilbert said, well, I want to coach her because this woman's going to be top 50. And he was so right. She was top 50 within a year, less than a year. She was top 50. Okay, so she went to she played Kuznetsova at Dubai, and then I was on holiday in Europe that year. I saw her take a set of Kuznetsova at Wimbledon in the second round on Wimbledon Centre Court, and my daughter and I were on holiday. I said, we've got to go to Wimbledon. So we took the Channel Tunnel and queued up at Wimbledon, 3-hour queue at Wimbledon, got in at about 5 o'clock in the evening. Sania was playing on an outside court. And it's quite interesting, on an outside court at Wimbledon, you get to basically, you get very intimate with the players. There's just about one row of people, 1 or 2 rows, and you're just standing around, and they were all Indians. There's 100% Indian crowd, and after every point, they would politely clap. I said, what is this? I went, come on, Sania! And I personality changes when I'm on a sports ground, and people were just a bit said, what is this guy? And my daughter said, Baba, I don't know you. I mean, what is this? but soon the crowd joined, and after that they just quickly won the final set, and they were through. And then on Saturday, I got a call from a phone number I didn't recognize. Looked like a Hyderabad number, and I got a call, and I picked up the phone. I said, yes, so the person on the other line said, I'm Nasima, Sania's mother speaking. Oh my goodness. I mean, I didn't even bother to ask, how did you get my number? I mean, it's so amazing. I said, yes. So she says, on Monday, would you like to come to Wimbledon? I said, obviously, yes. But I was actually leaving on Monday. I had a flight in the morning. I had a flight at about at noon. So I said, yeah, of course. So I got a ticket. I got a visitor pass to Wimbledon on the 27th of June, 2005. I mean, unforgettable day. We walked into the players' lounge after the match and saw Andy Roddick walking around. We got my autograph. And it was just an amazing experience. I mean, so after that, partly because Nasima, Imran, and Sania were all members of SportsIndia.com. This was the precursor to Indian Tennis Daily. And so we got to see her. But, the excitement, what she means to Indian tennis, I think, when I look at her compared to some of the others, as she was coming up, she was part of an ecosystem at that time. Sunil Yajaman had put together a tremendous ecosystem for junior tennis, and there were a whole bunch of players. There was Isha Lakhani, who actually once beat Sania. There was Ankita Bhambre. There was Sana Bhambre. So there was a whole bunch of really good players, and I think that helped. The fact that there were 4 or 5 really high-quality players, all of whom reached top 300 in the rankings. In the pro rankings, they were very good juniors, but they also became decent pros. But Sania had the backing of GVK. I mean, what was amazing was that when she was about 16 or so, she began to wear GVK on her tennis shirt, and nobody had heard of GVK. The first time I heard of GVK was when I saw it on her T-shirt. But GVK then went on to build one of the airports. I think that was either Mumbai or Delhi airport. One was built by GMR, the other was by GVK. The reason why GVK became famous, I think, GVK basically benefited hugely from sponsoring Sania Mirza when nobody knew of her. You know, from the time she was 16, they were sponsoring her, and I think that really helped. It gave a huge leg up to her career. But I mean, the way she took advantage of it, you know, at the US Open in her first year on tour, she made the 4th round. I mean, that was just a stunning achievement. And you know, from then on, she never really looked back. I mean, for the next 5 years, she was top 100 consistently. Most of the time, she was in the top 50. No other Indian woman had ever been in the top 135, you know, leave alone top 100, 50, 30. And it was just a spectacular achievement. So she became an icon. You know, I was just it was wonderful to watch from close at hand somebody who was almost a friend, a family friend. I mean, I look at Naseema and Imran as almost family friends. You know, then when she started playing doubles, you know, after, you know, I must say that in the first 5 years as a pro, as a singles pro, every year she had an injury break of 2 or 3 months at least, and she had 3 surgeries. You know, so basically, Indian bodies perhaps are not made for this extreme amount of pressure that the pro tour puts on bodies these days. You know, something needs to be done about our physique. So that basically means very early training and stuff like that. Anyway, so I think she made the right decision in the 6th year to become a doubles specialist. And, you know, she is a true professional. I mean, she focuses on mastering what she's working on. And within a couple of years, she was, you know, one of the top doubles players in the world. And of course, I lived in Singapore in those days. I lived in Singapore for 25 years. And during that time, the WTA finals used to be in Singapore. So I got to see her. The first time she played the WTA finals, she was partnering Cara Black. And you know, she hadn't yet become world number 1. Cara Black was one of the best doubles players in the world. Sania was rising, but they were, of course, good enough to be in the top 8. But in the final of the WTA finals, Sania and Cara Black was basically playing more or less her last match as a professional. They beat the Taiwanese pair 6-1, 6-love in the final. And, you know, after that, there was no real looking back. I mean, you know, you're playing the top 8 pairs in the world, and she comes and beats the second best pair, 6-1, 6-love. So thereafter, of course, then she, of course, partnered Martina Hingis, and she was world number 1 in women's doubles for a 4-year period. I mean, that is just remarkable. So she leaves a really spectacular legacy. And, you know, I have had the privilege to have had a front row seat on some of her great achievements. The WTA finals 3 times. The following year, of course, she won it 1 year with Cara Black. She won it the following year with Martina Hingis. And she was, of course, world number 1. She was an absolute celebrity. You know, as she became more of a celebrity, it was not that easy to talk to her, get close to her. But I was able to talk to Naseema and Imran right through. So I had the inside track on what was going on with her career. And it has been a fantastic ride. What a ride. May I just say, thank you, Sania. Thank you for making this an amazing career. Amazing career.
Sanjit, pure gold. Each story goosebumps worthy, and it's so good to hear such gold from a true tennis fan, from a true Indian tennis fan, and the way you followed Sania's journey. You said the thrills that she gave you as an 18-year-old, and now as a 36-year-old, she still gives us those thrills and still gives us that joy. What a story, what a journey. Abhijit, I want to ask you, we got one question from Kalyani on the chat where she says, who will be the successor now. And what are your thoughts? Where do you see Indian women's tennis going from here, Abhijit?
To be honest, I'm very proud of our current bunch of women who are playing right now. But Sania is, she's been world number 27. So that's a hell of an achievement. As of now, I don't see any of the current established women getting there. But we have someone called Shruti Ahlawat, who's a 16-year-old kid. And actually, she's had a bit of a better record in juniors than Sania. So yeah, Shruti Ahlawat, remember the name. My bet is on Shruti. After Sania, Shruti is the great next great Indian women player. Yeah.
Well, I'd say that there are, currently we have Ankita Raina, who is the next best player we've had, and we mustn't overlook what she has achieved. She has reached top 100 in the world in doubles. She has reached 160 in the world in singles. So not quite where Sania reached, nowhere near, of course, where Sania reached, but nonetheless, she has been a worthy India number one for the last 4 or 5 years. And she is, she's a hard worker. She lacks some of the physical strengths that would enable someone to really make it all the way to the top. But she's a tremendous fighter, and hats off to her as well. I mean, she's held the fort, and of course, she got to play at the Olympics, partnering Sania the last time. Now. In doubles, she and Prarthana are making a pretty decent pair, and of course I think Karman Kaur Thandi is a very exciting prospect. I don't want to keep calling her a prospect now. She's I think 23. COVID of course was a big setback for all the Indian players, but Karman is very talented. I think at Chennai she showed some of that talent.
That match
Chennai Open this year,
unbelievable.
WTA Chennai Open. She put up some pretty exciting performances. So if she can stay fit and last an entire year or two, if she lasts 2 full years on the tour without injury, I think she could at least make a top 100, which means that she would be playing the slams at least. And I think doubles is always an option for Indian players. So someone like, but yeah, Shruti is a very exciting talent. She's still very young. She's tall. She's remarkably tall. So that, could put her at an advantage. Given the women's doubles final that women's singles final that we just saw at the Australian Open, both very tall women. And that is obviously a strength. But, I can never forget Sania's forehand. I mean, what a forehand. I mean, even in her final slam match, you could see that, the male player couldn't match. When they hit to her forehand, she would hit a winner within 2 or 3 shots of the rally. And it was impossible to get past that amazing forehand. And, what is also interesting is that Sania never had a particularly good serve. But the serve was still good enough. I mean, the first 2 games of the final, mixed doubles final this year, she didn't lose a point on serve.
Prasenjit, the serve was always backed up with a thundering forehand. That forehand was so scary for a lot of these opponents. I mean, what a forehand. Have you seen any forehand on the women's side like that in your career, in your experience?
I suppose Steffi Graf. I mean, Steffi Graf had a similar forehand, but that's about it. I mean, Steffi and Sania. I mean, those were the great forehands.
And there's a beautiful question coming in for Vidisha. So Kalyani asks, who should play Sania if a biopic is made on her, in your opinion? Who do you think plays that, Vidisha?
Oh, in my opinion, I feel like Deepika Padukone can also justify the role. Because personally, Deepika and Sania both are my favorites. So she's a favorite actress and Sania is the best player. So why not compliment both?
And Deepika herself has been a wonderful badminton player growing up. So, I mean, that the athleticism, the mentality should match. And Abhijit, what do you want to add?
I just want to say Sania should just play herself. I think, I think she'll do a good job job.
makes
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the wonderful reels that she makes, the humor that she has, the wit that she has, and her acting abilities can never be underestimated. So I think she would succeed even as an actress if she comes up with that.
For sure.
Okay. Any final thoughts? We're running a little short on time. Any of you want to add up on any special memory over the years? Any one moment which really moved you and you want to share with all of us when it comes to Sania? Abhijit, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the 2015 Wimbledon, when she played with Martina Hingis, that final, I remember watching that final. That is one of the most beautiful tennis matches I've ever seen. I got goosebumps watching that match. It was like a lights out, spectacular tennis. And, she's been part of my teenage years and then my growing up years. I just want to say thank you, Sania, for what she's done for herself and for Indian tennis. And I hope, we will continue to celebrate her legacy forever.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
I would like to add.
Yes, Vidisha, go ahead.
Yes, so I have recently collaborated with India Tennis Daily and made a reel on Sania and relating my journey to it. So I would love if she watches it and, appreciates how she has inspired all of us, all the girls in India to play tennis.
I hope Vidisha's message reaches out to Sania Mirza and she does watch your wonderful reel and what her journey has meant to you growing up. And Sania, if you're watching, or if someone who knows Sania closely is watching, do convey Vidisha's message to Sania. And Prasenjit, I'll give you the last word. Your closest memory with Sania that you want to share with us. You've already shared so much and everything is pure gold. Any final words?
Well, I think the final of the WTA finals, the first time she won it, I think it was 2014. That was just such an amazing match. 6-1, 6-love. I've never seen dominance. And the interesting thing was that in that match, Cara Black was a little off color. Can you believe it? Cara Black was off color and Sania carried the team. I have to say in the semi-final, I think it was that Sania was a little off color. So, Cara, it always works that way. But, the slam titles, each of the slam titles is a distinct memory. Absolutely. I'd agree with Abhijit that the Wimbledon final, 2015 Wimbledon final was really a fabulous match. And, I think, to me, to have had the honor of being with her right at the start in the Players' Lounge at Wimbledon, how can I ever forget that? I still have the badge. I'll keep it for life. Players' guest, S. Mirza.
And on,
Thank
I
you.
mean, this just shows
Thank you, Imran.
how much Sania Mirza has meant to us all, and how much the family, the contributions of her father, of her mother, each of them have made this legend, the legend that she is. And on behalf of the super fans, Abhijit, Vidisha, Prasenjit, and myself, Saarthak, once again, we thank you, Sania Mirza, and we will keep celebrating Sania Mirza on Indian Tennis Daily. There's a lot more we'll be coming up with. The Swan Song will go on and the celebrations will go on. And as tennis fans, we would only hope that Sania Mirza, as a coach, as a mentor, helps create another icon, another legend for women's tennis. That's the hope. That's what we all would truly look forward to. But that's all the time we have on today's live show. I'll be coming back. We all will be joining you once again on Indian Tennis Daily very soon. That's all the time we have. Take care of yourselves. And once again, we thank you, Sania. Thank you so much for all the memories. See you soon. This is Saarthak.
Thanks so much.
On behalf of Indian
Thanks,
Tennis Daily, signing off. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks.